all the time. More recently, the chairman of the Intelligence Committee has made a similar statement that the CIA lies and lies consistently. 7 members of the Intelligence Committee have written to the director of the CIA asking him to retract some statements that he made back in May about the CIA and the honorable men and women in the CIA and their service and their intent to always to fully and brief Congress and to be truthful in their testimony to Congress. And these 7 members said that he should retract that statement, and basically implying that they believe that he had now misled the Congress and the Intelligence Committee. And remember, this is all Democrats. The Speaker saying the CIA, this CIA lies, now under the direction of Leon Panetta, a former Democrat member of this House. The 7 Democratic members of the Intelligence Committee saying that Leon Panetta, a former Democrat member of this House, may have lied to the committee. The President of the United States, as we were considering, or as we were hoping to bring an intelligence bill to the floor for debate, the President coming back and saying that he putting a veto threat on that bill because of the language that was in that bill. But the bottom line is that as we've gone through this process, and you know, as in coming out of this briefing where Director Panetta had briefed us, some of my colleagues on the committee have now said, well, we're going to bring in the Vice President. We need to bring in Vice President Cheney, and we have to, investigate a program that was very clearly stated yesterday in it was stated yesterday in USA Today. They want to investigate a program that they never told Congress about, that never happened, meaning they planned it and they did some work on it, but they never executed the program. And so it's kind of like, what's going on here? The program, sure, there was some planning done on it. There might have been some training dollars that were expended on it. Yeah, you're right, they didn't brief Congress, but they never did the program. And then USA Today said, you know, and guess what? This was in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, and it's alleged that the program and the deliberations within the CIA were about how to disrupt, contain, and perhaps kill the leadership of Al-Qaeda. And you kind of step back and think, you would think that our national security apparatus in the months after 9/11, in the years after 9/11, that they would have been considering different ways to contain, disrupt, or to kill the leaders of Al-Qaeda. And in reality, according to press reports, much of that has happened over the last 8 years, and guess what? In many of these cases, America's and the American people are very grateful about that we've disrupted Al-Qaeda, that they've not been able to carry out another attack against the United States. And according to press reports, in the last few months, one of the top leaders of Al-Qaeda, one of bin Laden's sons, may have been killed in an attack. But he's part of the leadership that still wants to attack U.S. troops in Afghanistan, to kill our troops in Afghanistan, and if possible, to attack the United States again. But, you know, it's just amazing to me that you have the men and women of the CIA who have been aggressively going after the threats and the enemies of the United States, and they've done it successfully for 8 years. We haven't been attacked again, and the thanks that they get now from this administration and the leadership of this Congress is that they are called liars, and they're called liars repeatedly, and they are now being threatened by the Attorney General that they are going to be investigated and they may be prosecuted. It's the wrong way to go. These are all points that were raised in the editorial yesterday in USA Today. saying it's wrong to go down this path because, number one, there's nothing there to be investigated. What it appears that some want to do, what it appears they want to do is they want to move and they want to focus back on the previous administration. And what we need to be doing is we need to be looking forward. The threats to America are real. We need to be focused on containing and defeating the threats that we face as a country today, and we need a strong intelligence community and a strong military to make that happen, and we need to demonstrate to the men and women of the intelligence community and in the armed services that we stand behind them. And sure, we recognize that they may make mistakes. They will recognize that. And that when they do, they will be held accountable. When they do the job that we have asked them to do, when they do the job that we have funded them to do. It is amazing to me that many of the programs that are now being criticized that have kept us safe are the same programs that many of the members of this House knew about. They supported them, they funded them, and they asked the intelligence community to carry them forward and to do them. They are now criticizing the intelligence community for. They are calling them liars, and they're saying we may prosecute you. And the bottom line is, was pointed out in the USA Today editorial, is they are destroying the morale within the intelligence community. These are people who risk their lives to keep America safe, and they're saying this is the thanks that we are getting from America's elected political leadership for the risks that we have taken and for the results that we have gotten. It is just plain wrong for us to be doing this to the men and women of the intelligence community. And like the USA Today, I think the message has to be very simply, stop. Stop. There's not any evidence that you need to go down the path that you're going down, and all you're going to do is hurt the community that has kept America safe. America has great strengths. We've got great people in the state of Michigan. Yes, we're struggling, but Michigan is going to come back because we've got great people. We've got great resources. We have got the opportunity to rebuild the state. We've got the opportunity to rebuild this country. But the solutions for rebuilding America and rebuilding Michigan are not going to come from Washington, D.C. They are not going to come from Lansing. They're going to come from Washington, D.C. and Lansing, giving up control and giving more freedom back to the people of America, to the people of Michigan, to let them have some of their sovereignty back, to let them get some of the freedom back, and to free them from some of the burdensome mandates, rules, and regulations. We do that by cutting their taxes, reforming government, allowing for innovation and creativity at a grassroots level, at a local level, and by freezing spending here in Washington. I think with the mad dash that we've done here in Washington on spending, we ought to be looking at cutting spending here in Washington and shrinking the size of this government and unleashing the potential of America's people and Michigan citizens to rebuild our state and rebuild this country. Give them the freedom. Give them the freedom to grow their business, to start a business, to hire a few more people, to try things, the freedom to grow a business, the freedom to fail, and the freedom to be successful, the freedom to succeed in a dream that they may have. Michigan was built on the creativity and the innovation and the ingenuity of a whole range of people over generations. Michigan's future was never built or created by a government in Lansing or a government in Washington, D.C. We need to